I have been in a mood lately. Dare I say, a funk. Something about the past few months just kind of felt off, you know? I feel like everyone gets like this, and there's multiple contributing factors. But for me, personally, I feel like it could have something to do with the fact of it being my birthday. I just turned 24. After this video is over, I will proceed to eat all of that by myself. I didn't turn 24 yet, as of me writing this, like in the past, as you're watching this. But I mean, at this rate, the way I put out videos, I'll probably be 25 pushing 26. Funny ha-has aside, that's kind of the issue. I've been feeling kind of off with my creative output. And everyone kind of stresses about time and what we do with said time. And I'm not saying I'm ancient because I'm 24. Not unk status just yet. Just more of a reflection on my work, my motivations, and doubting them. And I think that is what I want to talk about. Sort of dive into these feelings and present you with the findings. And what I've used to help reflect and combat these feelings. From the viewpoint of musicians I enjoy and philosophies I find solace in. Earl Sweatshirt reference. Think of those like Creative Mind videos, but without like a real strict theme. Just kind of different mindsets I've been inspired by and want to share, but with my own twist. Wink, wink. Emphasized wink. If you haven't figured out yet, this channel is essentially like grown-up show and tell. Because I know that a lot of you out there are the creative type. Not just musicians, of course. Fellow YouTubers, traditional artists, designers, etc. But something about a deep appreciation of music fuels all other aspects of creativity. And I feel like this audience has probably, will probably, or already is probably experiencing something similar. I know this is kind of weird for me to discuss, but think about it like this. One of my favorite movies is Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler. Wait, don't, hang on, just chill. It's cool again, that's what they all say. Hang on, I'm going somewhere with this. The Wrestler is about wrestling, something I personally really enjoy. But it's also simultaneously not about wrestling. The Wrestler is about addiction, self-worth, masculinity, parenthood, and knowing nothing else but what you've been. Feeling incapable of change, and taking that feeling and essentially dying in the ring because the only place I get hurt is out there. The Wrestler is about wrestling. Much in the same way, this video is about music. But it's also not.
Hello, Your Honor. As you can see, I've decided to make a video essay in place of a written essay.
So like I mentioned at the beginning, I kind of want to chunk this out by artist and their creative philosophies. Or more accurately, the perils and pitfalls that they found themselves in, and how they worked their way out of them. A lesson, if you will. So without further ado, allow us to begin. Actually, give me real quick. I've been brushing up on my graphic design skills, you know, and I have like a lesson I've got to finish. It's going to take like 2 seconds, 3 max. Just, you guys can watch too. I really don't care.
I generally go with how the designer, which is usually me, but sometimes it's somebody else. I like to start with how they've actually done their drawing. And I can see in here, or I scanned it into my computer, made it into an electronic file, which, because I like JPEGs.
Sudden.
Lately, every word that come out my mouth get fired straight from the hip.
The resolution, the color, everything about JPEGs I like.
Be honest, was that cool or is that kind of shitty? I personally thought it was kind of cool. JPEGMAFIA. I am sure you are sick of hearing that name coming out of this mouth. But ever since he released I Lay Down My Life For You, I saw him live, and he dropped the director's cut of the album, he has been on my mind, and his name has been constantly in the mouth of the A Bucket of Jake GOAT discussion. Hit after hit after hit for this man. JPEGMAFIA's mix of distorted, abrasive, and sometimes elegant production parallels perfectly with the distorted, abrasive, and sometimes elegant lyricism. I find Peggy's work so inspirational personally because it's just him. Look at the credits of any track in his discography. maybe like a mastering engineer in his newer work, and maybe like fucking Flume or Kenny Beats helped out on a beat, but for the most part, this is all one person. A JPEGMAFIA album comes straight from the unmediated mind of JPEGMAFIA, and in that is the key word, unmediated. There's not a whole army of producers and co-producers and executive co-producers. There's not a graveyard-sized team of ghostwriters at his pen. It's all from the mind of one person. And I think that is because a mix of a few things. Frankly, his music is very boundary pushing, so finding people to rap over his beats or feature on a track with him is going to be challenging. In an interview he did, he basically said that he started rapping out of spite because no one liked the beats he made.
I started out as a producer. I've been making beats since I was like 13 or 14. And when I was first making beats, no one liked the beats. To this day, I give people beats and they're just confused or like they just didn't like it. So I kind of started rapping because no one liked my beats. So I like the beats.
Another big one is money. The thing that makes the world go round. Peggy is no Nepo baby. He could not get top-of-the-line engineers and producers for his earlier work. I'm sure you've seen this clip floating around, but I feel like it's earned its stripes as a true nichely viral video.
And I started mixing and mastering because I could not afford mixing and mastering. I'm not paying someone $2,000 a song to make my shit sound like ass. I'll make it sound like ass myself for free.
So Peggy had to become a Swiss Army knife of a musician because he couldn't do it any other way.
I'm gonna do things, I'm gonna make mistakes and make crucial decisions that someone else will never do. So like, I have to take control of this out of necessity because when my shit is left in other people's hands, they fuck it up every time.
Would collaborations and other shared musical experiences help Peggy on this journey? Yeah, sure, maybe. Who's to say? But he needed to learn these skills, refine these skills, and build upon these skills until he has become the super producer and rapper you see today. And I'm not disavowing collaboration even a little bit. It's a super important part of the creative process. Some of my favorite artists' albums' credits look like a fucking Cheesecake Factory menu. It's more of a testament to not needing a machine behind you to be successful. JPEGMAFIA is an independent artist. He has millions of monthly listeners, sells out all of his physical music, and goes on world tours because he found an audience that connects with his vision. And who's to say if major record label executives getting their grubby little fingers on his work and, whether consciously or not, altering or changing his music to be more consumer friendly would have made people not connect with an authentic Peggy vision. If you want it bad enough, you'll make it work. And the byproduct of that might mean more toiling, learning new skills, and a lot of rejections and failures. But that then means the end product is all you. He was never fearful his music would not connect with people, forcing him to water it down. Frankly, he didn't care. He wanted to make what he wanted to make. He never feared failure, he just did not stop. And you can find success with that mindset. Because if a solo creative vision is strong enough, I think that spills into the music, and people can hear it.
Keep going. I know it's very generic, but haters are a real thing. I had 50 views for fucking 15 years, and now I make a living from this shit because I just didn't stop. Don't stop at all. Keep going.
Alrighty, next. How about if you're feeling kind of stuck, like you really want to make something good, but you can't make anything good. You just can't. I present to you Porter Robinson's Nurture. Porter Robinson's 2021 album Nurture was a fantastic and beautiful listen. Porter foregoing his EDM club roots for a more organic singer-songwriter and poppy take on his electronic sound. Not only was it a very good record to consume, but behind the scenes, it was a record that proved himself wrong in the best way possible. 7 years removed from his last project. Storytime. So after his aforementioned previous album 7 years ago, Worlds, Porter found himself stuck, like he couldn't make good music if he tried.
I kind of came home from touring Worlds. It's time for me to write the next thing. I felt like I discovered my sound. I was like, I've been working all this time to figure out what my sound is, and I found it with Worlds. And very, very quickly, I realized that I just could not make anything good at all. And this would eventually get to the point where I was convinced that I just needed to quit music, and that I really truly thought that like my life was over. Very much a life or death issue for me.
Not like a few days like this, not even a few weeks or months, years. This thought was consistent in his head. It scared him so much, and it was going on for so long, he convinced himself that he could not make good music anymore, or any for that matter.
God, this was terrible. I was working like 6 or 7 hours a day on music and nothing was coming, and so I thought I needed to work harder. So I cut out, like, I stopped seeing friends, I stopped leaving the house, stopped like going to restaurants, I stopped listening to other people's albums, I stopped watching movies, playing video games.
You cut yourself from any sort of creative inspiration that may have fueled any genius that was laying dormant.
It was only when he stopped trying to forcibly vomit out his creativity on command did he find something he could sink his teeth into.
The fun thing is, what I really needed to do, I think, was like loosen my grip on it and try something else and stop trying to fix the problem and just like actually go out and like fall in love and find new things to love.
He wanted Nurture to have a new sound, and he wanted to be the lead narrator and vocalist for that album. He never did that before.
I could read like a WikiHow article on how to write a chorus, and believe me, I did. I was Googling the entire time, like, how do I do music?
This man is a Grammy-nominated musician. If that does not make someone out there feel a little bit better, I do not know what will. But when he finally let go of this mental block and his vocal fears, he created such a unique and fantastic record. It's so warm, fun, and impassioned, as if the whole thing is a giant middle finger saying, "Oh yeah, stupid brain, fucking you think I can't do this anymore? Watch this, buddy, boom, best you've ever heard in your life." A mental blockade is just that, a mental blockade. There's nothing physically holding you back from your best. You just need to get out of your own way and stop fearing what you're making isn't good enough. Stop forcing yourself to make the best shit ever because you have to. It might take uncomfortably long, years in Porter Robinson's case. But when you drop that blockade and create with no preconceived notions or fears, that is when the soil is at its best for growth. Get it? Because nature is the thing on the album. Quick sponsor time, but it's not a big company. Those don't talk to me. It is the channel merch, catchingbigfish.store. We got shirts, hoodies, hats, and CDs. We got it all. All sourced by me, printed locally, and in no uncertain terms, a passion project for myself. As a thank you for watching this video, you can use code CREATE at checkout for 30% off your order for the next week. That is right, 30% off your entire order for the next week at catchingbigfish.store using code CREATE. Supporting the merch supports the channel, supports me, supports more merch. It's a big, nice big circle, Lion King style. Thank you for your time. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Alrighty, how about this one? You're not entirely confident in your creative skills, and you're worried that since you're new to this, people will judge you because you aren't incredible yet. I mean, come on, guys. It's a video about creative confidence. Of course, Mr. Creativity, Tyler the Creator, is going to come up at least once. Like, it's in his name, for heaven's sake. If you need an elevator pitch for Tyler the Creator, yikes, but my mom does watch these videos sometimes, so humor me. Edgy teenage rapper turned Grammy-winning producer of every damn genre under the sun, I think. Singer, songwriter, Tyler the Creator has been a fixation in the creative confidence headspace forever. Flower Boy, Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost, and now Chromacopia. Slide him right into the JPEGMAFIA entry because for the most part, this is all him. And he created this gigantic status as an authentic artist that is not worried to wear his heart on his sleeve. That was really cringy. I shouldn't have done that. If you've had a creative struggle, odds are Tyler has spoken about it and stomped that shit out to become truly a generational creative. So just picking one of Tyler's viewpoints was difficult. And if you want more like this, hey, who's to say? I'll run it back for a part 2. But the one that stood out to me the most was his mindset on people who are apprehensive to show their work to the world. If we were talking about JPEGMAFIA clips going nichely viral, I'll say this shit with my whole ass chest. I think this one just straight up went viral.
You clearly want to make some, so why not just make it?
Because I'm scared.
Of what?
I don't know.
Exactly. You just answered your own question.
And this is weirdly not a unique take. I know people in my personal life, not a huge sample size, of course. I'm a YouTuber after all. But I know and have known people who fear making stuff because it might not be good enough, it might not do well, blah, 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 blah. People fear this imaginary animosity people are gonna have because they're not awesome at what they do. So fuck it, so many people are better than me, why even bother? If you want to make something, please just make it. No one has your unique perspective on the thing you want to make. So don't think of it as tossing a mediocre piece out into an oversaturated ocean. Think of it more as adding to a conversation. That's like saying, oh, I'm not gonna talk when I'm hanging out with friends because like every word's already been said, so like, what's the point? I'll just shut up. People fear putting their projects out there out of fear of being judged or straight up bullied for not being perfect. But if you're new to something, that's what learning how to do something is. Only in this fucked up reality is it on display for potentially millions of people to shit on you for.
To all y'all that plan on making anything, like just really do it, because worst come to worst, it doesn't work out. And then you either try again or go on to the next idea. Like I've had so many things that didn't work out and I was like, oh, well, that sucks, on to the next thing. And you move on and then you rehash it in the future. So like, run it.
If Tyler took the criticism of his early abrasive, insensitive, and immature work and gave up, he would never have grown and evolved as an artist to eventually release impactful, vulnerable, and mature music like Flower Boy, Chromacopia, and fucking Igor.
They're looking at face value. Like they don't know what I know. They don't know my full potential. Y'all don't know what I'm going to be doing in 3 years. I know what the fuck I'm going to be doing in 3 years. I know what I'm going to be doing in 6 months. But some people can only judge you based off what you've already done. Hey, I'm going to get a Grammy. And I'm saying this around the Goblin time. People are like, ooh, this nigga is tripping, right? But I'm like, oh, you guys don't know what I'm capable of and what I have planned for the next 4 years.
Comparison is the thief of joy, and triple that when it comes to creatives. Do not compare yourself in your journey to someone else who is putting out a similar piece. That is a fantastic recipe for getting discouraged. Only compare yourself to your previous work. Music, right? Let's say you're scared to release your album because Little Fuckhead's album is so much cooler and it's doing numbers and Rate Your Music fucking loves it, so you're getting cold feet. When the only thing you should be comparing your album to is your last album, or your last singles, or your last demos. Have you improved your own unique set of skills in this stage of your journey? If the answer is yes, then good news. Release date is right around the corner.
Just walking up to people like, hi, I'm Tyler, I made this, because I put time and love and too much energy into this finished project just to put it on Instagram and forget about it. Like, no, promote your, let people know, be proud of that you made. So when you said that you proudly stand by it, I was like, oh, it's a whole bunch of them who don't have that. So I think that that's beautiful.
All right, video's getting long, but this one is special. The big bullseye in the center of this video. The whole reason I wanted to make this video. Age, success, and failure. Ladies and gentlemen, and everything else in between, I fear I'm losing my edge. LCD Soundsystem. Fun fact, the LCD stands for Liquid Christmas Display. I didn't make that up even a little bit. Google that shit. I'm not fucking around. Yes, LCD Soundsystem is the entire reason I wanted to make this video. More specifically, James Murphy and his story are the reasons I wanted to make this video. Quick synopsis of LCD Soundsystem, again for my mom. Electronics, dance punk, and indie sleaze when that title was respected. LCD Soundsystem, masterminded by James Murphy. It's like a Justin Vernon, Bon Iver type situation. Brought that underground New York dance and electronic scene to the mainstream with super catchy and infectious guitar riffs. They have a song in a fucking eBay commercial. So LCD Soundsystem gets around. But James Murphy was not a big hit in the early 2000s at 19, 21, or 24. A large component to his story and the success of the band was his age, and how he viewed himself at the age of 32 trying and failing to have a music career, over and over again. This is the fucking video, a 13-year-old YouTube interview, where James Murphy gets candid about his life. and how close he was to giving up on music from lack of success. If you've heard an LCD Soundsystem song or enjoy music, I'm sure you've seen this video before. Honestly, I would be more surprised if you have not. I'm really holding back just playing the entire video and calling it a day, but I'll cherry pick some of my favorites.
I was really a failure, like really a failure. Like I dropped out of college to make music, but then I stopped making music. I mean, like really like just, like not even an epic failure, just sort of like a sad, pathetic failure. Just like kind of, I don't care what you tell me, like I just want to not do this anymore. I just need to do something else. I was lazy, but lazy never felt right when I heard that. When I said that to myself, I was like, you're lazy. It wasn't that I was lazy, I was just really afraid. I was really afraid of failing. All my life I'd been precocious, and like I was like, you know, I was supposed to be smart and I was supposed to be creative. And I think hearing those things makes you scared that you're going to do something stupid or do something uninteresting, and no one will see you as smart or creative anymore.
It's truly a goldmine for boosting your creative confidence. So like all the other interviews that I've been playing, this will be linked in full in the description for you to watch. I started to really love LCD Soundsystem from Daft Punk's Playing in My House, the aforementioned eBay commercial song, off of their first self-titled album, which also contained the song that would break him out of his funk, Losing My Edge.
And it was like this really dense conflict that I couldn't resolve, and that's kind of where Losing My Edge came from. Like I was angry, but I was also really pathetic for being angry. I made that song and everybody thought it was terrible. I remember playing it for people and they would be like, they'd give you this face like, you know, like kind of like they don't want to say anything. And so we put it out, and with literally the people from the label, like my two partners, Tim and John, were just like, they afterwards said, like, we just thought you were making a big mistake and you were gonna look like an idiot, and we just kind of felt bad.
I've talked about it before on the channel, but I love Losing My Edge. Pause, I think pause. Safe tentative pause. Not just the hard-hitting and danceable instrumental, but the tongue-in-cheek jaded lyrics. And learning it came from a place of being jaded. And at the time, all going through his head, James Murphy almost quit music, makes it even wilder. And this has opened the floodgates for LCD Soundsystem for me. Just listen to The Sound of Silver. I'm slowly working my way through the discography, and god damn, what an album. One I'm pretty confident to say I am in love with. Tracks are a little long, I'll be the first one to admit it, but they're so infectious, raw, and emotional, it kinda doesn't matter. Someone Great, New York, I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down, All of My Friends, bro, you need to stop. Why you make me feel like this? If you're sitting with bated breath just waiting for me to get to the fucking point, I think you can boil down this entire video into one catch-all term: overcoming failure. Also known as the thing in the thumbnail. Oh wait, they do all connect. I lied earlier in the video when I said they didn't. Boom, storytelling. But back to the point. It's understandable. Nobody likes failure. That's what every artist I've talked about in this video's message can be traced back to. Failure. Nobody likes when it happens, but it does. It's not if you fail, it's when you fail, and how you bounce back from it. For me, maybe a video isn't doing so well. I spent hours on a demo for my musical project just for it to sound like hot ass. A design idea I'm really passionate about that I can't quite get out of my head and present the way I want, and I become discouraged. It's easy to fall back on giving up. I find myself in that headspace time to time, where it's easier to just call it, move on, do something else, like sit on my little blue couch and rot away the remaining brain cells I have, just endlessly doom scrolling for 4 hours. Much better use of my time. I know a few of you heard that little rant there and was like, oh my god, he's literally me. But we all get like this. Everyone does. But don't let fear of mediocrity or failure stop you from trying. So what the piece that you've spent more time than you'd like to admit on turned out to be poo-poo? At least you made something. That's better than a lot of other people. Failure did not keep JPEGMAFIA from finding an audience from his true, authentic, unmediated vision. Failure did not keep Porter Robinson from releasing these preconceived notions and finding his voice when he least expected it. Failure didn't keep Tyler the Creator from continuing to grow and evolve into what he is today. Failure did not keep James Murphy from shaking this idea of patheticness and fear of not making it and making it. And failure should not keep you from making what you want. Be your honest, authentic, and unpolished self. Just don't stop, don't doubt, don't lose your edge. A rather ranty, therapeutic video from me. This video really wasn't about music, but it also kind of was.
You just make something. Don't worry about it. Just make it. Like, stop overthinking it. Like, just make it and put it out. And they're like, well, you can do that. I'm like, no, you have no idea. Like, I spent my entire 20s. Like, you are now younger. Like, I'm talking to some 27-year-old who thinks that I know what I'm talking. You know, like, it's easy for me. And I was like, when I was your age, I was still 5 years from putting out Losing My Edge. Like, I was 5 years still of complete and abject failure to go. So you're doing great. Like, you're actually doing fine.